Welcome to the ultimate hard mode forestry challenge. We're starting with nothing. No money, no equipment, just a chainsaw and a whole lot of trees. The economy is set to the hardest level and every dollar counts. Can we survive long enough to build a thriving operation, or will this challenge break us? Let's find out. What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardwood Challenge, and we are moving to a different map here. We're using Wampsville, New York, the forestry version of it. We're just having some issues with everything that had to do with the map that we were working on, so we're switching it up. We're gonna keep the hard economy going, but I wanted to switch maps because of the ground issues and just some other things I wasn't satisfied with the map and the look and feel of it with the fog, and I was having to shut that off. But I don't want to ramble too long. We're going into town. We're going to put a down payment on a log trailer because we're going to need to start doing some log work. We do have the firewood production, which I'm kind of debating. Well, let's go think this through, Chris. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but I did want to kind of cruise around and see where our property that I gave us is at. We have all the same equipment from the last time we were on this playthrough. You can see in here we do have the log fork, we have the Brantner trailer, the Kubota with the front loader, as well as the stump grinder and the bag lifter, as well as the winch. So we're gonna go back. Just kind of want to see, this might be a little bit of our future here. There is a stone pit and a glass production, but we also have a sand production that the glass production needs. So it might be something that we look into long term. But heading back home, because I did realize we don't really need to spend money on the log trailer yet, since we can produce the firewood. So that's going to be our first real drive at the economy here. And I think the plan now is to make enough money off of firewood that we can buy a sawmill and start producing planks and long planks and wood beams to make a ton of money. Hard economy is going to be hard. We're going to go till we hit $1 million. That's the challenge here. I did give myself field land 17 and 18 for our little starting location with a little barn here. So we got everything all configured and ready. I think we just need to start chopping some trees down, get them into the firewood production, and get rolling. So the goal for today's episode is to earn enough money to be able to buy that sawmill. And just like we did before, we're gonna try to make this easy on us. Grass is thick here, and I haven't ruled out getting into some crops on this playthrough, so that may be coming eventually. But I did want to try out this production here and see if we do need to trim everything. I don't remember, but we hover over here. It tells us that, well, let's go over here so we get a better view here. It just tells us volume if chipped. I don't see anything for the mass. Months remaining says, I don't know what that means. 1578, but I almost feel like that's the liters we're gonna get. So let's see, we have nothing in the production and we have 1578. So that is the number that was the liters of the tree. So let's do this next one and not trim any branches. I think this production is gonna be fine without it. But when we sell wood, we'll definitely want to trim the branches and cut it down to a decent size to sell if we do that. But we see here we do have 2060, and we hop over here and add that. Yeah, it seems to be about what we're expecting. So I'm gonna get this thing populated and let's see what the max capacity is of it. We can hold 110,000 liters, and we are gonna be burning through 25,728 liters a month. So we'll get about 30,000 liters in here, and then we're gonna probably get to September, see how much firewood we can sell and make, and just kind of keep doing that until we're able to just be able to get that sawmill and add more and more productions to make more and more money. So let's do it. So it seems like these are the trees we want to target, really, because they have about 5,000 liters of capacity here, or whatever we want to call it with lumber. So we're gonna cut that down. I think that'll get us to 25, and then this would get us, that one's not as tall. This one over here would probably get us to 30. Nope, that's not as tall either. Where's another one? I think I see one right here. Yeah, 6,000 on this one. Okay, let's do this way. And those last two trees, I did do a little bit off camera there, but these last two trees definitely will help. Let's hop in here. I do want to get the winch so I can pull those ones over. Those are the first ones that I fell that didn't fall in the production. So let's go hook up to those and we'll pull them on over. All right, there's one right there. Didn't even see it in the grass, ran right over it. But we should be able to just go from here, grab this and pull these over. It's kind of the thought process. And I think you can stand out here and do that, right? If I go right here and do Control Z. All right, let's open up the help menu. It doesn't show up. All right, I don't know. Maybe I see it in here, lower and control. But if I'm over here, oh, it's just K and M. Oh, nice. So we can stand here and just bring this in. Don't have to hop in the vehicle. And that should be in the, whoop, whoop, whoop. Wrong buttons. That should be in the trigger. We'll come over here. And we're at 24,000. So this last one, absolutely. If we can pull it, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this without moving the tractor, but we'll give it a shot. I think it's going to definitely run into some things here. We'll see how strong this winch is when it comes to those trees being in the way and the production. Seems to be doing okay. Just need to sneak it over here a little bit more, and that should do it. So this one is about, I think this one was 6,000, right? Hover over here, 5.9 or 5.69. So that puts us at 30. All right, we're gonna go ahead and sleep and see how many bags we make overnight. It's gonna be a little boring to start, but we will get rolling into it momentarily. And we still have 10,000 in here, so we did pretty good, but we're out of space, so they're not going to be able to produce overnight like that completely. Let's go ahead and switch to the front. We're going to put the log forks down now. And yeah, so I think that was our lesson there. So it doesn't have enough capacity to just run on its own. So we're definitely going to have to babysit that a little bit throughout the night or throughout the day, just to make sure we're not running through time like that, like we did to get to September here. But if I didn't mention, we do have all the loans that we had, and they did start over their dates. So if there was anything that we made payments on them prior to changing maps, we kind of lost that. So now let's see if we can remember how to get this all to work here. Bag, the icon's not wanting to show up for me there. There we go, we got one bag, and I guess we could have bought the double bag. But one bag at a time getting sold, and I lost track in my brain what the amount is. It's only $500. So, okay, we're gonna find out real quick if this is gonna be something that's gonna make us a ton of money or not. And I think the problem was I didn't have the actual bag selected, so, or the bag grappler. But so this should be pretty quick now. Let's get these sold. Let's see what happens. How high we can get that dollar amount. So slightly disappointing, and I think what we're gonna do here, we're gonna fill this back up, and then we're going to probably purchase a log trailer. We're gonna cut a bunch of logs down, and we gotta get them sold. We got to start processing that way, get more money. And I think what I'm gonna do is attack a couple of these larger trees for the sawmill, and then I think we'll be all right to get that around 20,000 again. And then we'll, look into buying that log trailer. All right, that is populated, so we're gonna now drop the winch. That's not the winch. For now, let's hop in the store and let's try not to spend too much because we are a little bit in debt, but I think this $38,000 one would definitely be worth starting with. I think we'll go with the cheapest one. We don't need the spare wheel. We don't need the mud flaps. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this as cheap as possible. What else is adding 1,000 here? The rim color. Is there one that we can go with that doesn't add 1,000? That one's 500. That one's 0. We'll go with that to get this down to 38,500. We're gonna hire it, and we are gonna throw Yeah, we'll throw 40% down. We'll go 10 years to make this as low as possible. And we know we got to make a lot of money today. So I'm not 100% sure where the store is. I do see it. So let's see. We want to head, if we take roads, we're going to head down to this dirt road towards where the glass production that we showed was. And I don't believe that sawmill's purchasable, which is kind of sad. So we'll have to build our own. And I think we will probably end up starting with the smaller one the first time around. We're going to need the log fork on here as well. But this is a long way around to that production, or to the vehicle shop. So we're going to probably want to figure out where that path is and start clearing it so we can get there a little bit quicker. But there's also this stone pit that I eventually am eyeing buying. It is a lumber series, but I do want to take advantage of some of the things on this map because of the hard economy. So I believe we take this road now, and it should take us right to the vehicle shop where our log trailer is. And hopefully the Kubota is strong enough to pull a full load. I think it will be. Looks like we got the animal dealer up here as well. Very cool. Let's see what this sign says. Oh, it's just like information, but then up here, I think it's something interesting or unique about this map. All right, welcome to Wampsville, New York. Remove NPCs. Once you activate this trigger, save and reload this save for the physical NPCs to disappear from the map or bring them back. All right, well, this is cute. So we do know that's a possibility. I'm not sure we really are worried about doing that, but it's nice to know you can get rid of them. I'm not sure exactly what benefit that gives us. But let's hook up to our log trailer. We're gonna head back home. We know the firewood production's doing its thing for the month of September. And towards the end of the day, we'll definitely move a little bit of that and get it sold. We got to get up to around $10,000 for our loans at this point. So we know we want to balance at the end of the month, but let's see what one full load of this log trailer is gonna bring us on hard economy. And we're gonna move through this pretty quick. We're not gonna show a ton of it on camera. I do want to move through a good amount of time in today's episode and get us plugging away towards that $1 million. That's gonna take forever on hard economy. But let's build a plan here. So we do see, if I point directly this way, is where that dealership is. So what I want to do is just kind of mark out here the direction I want to go. Come here with a surface painting here, and just kind of make the direction to start with. And this is where we're going to want to start clearing some trees so we can have a straight shot to that production. But let's also see, or to the vehicle shop. I don't know why I keep calling it a production, but let's go ahead here and see where wood tag this place, which is the highest price right now. That is straight that way as well. A little further though, and we'll figure out the roads there, but that's where we're gonna go to sell the first bit of wood. I'm gonna chop these down, get them loaded. Well, gotta get the log forks, but I'll see you in a little bit. Oh, we are heading in with the first load here. It took a couple hours in game, but we're making our way, and we're gonna see exactly how much this costs. Untagged, why did it untag? But prices do seem to be fluctuating pretty good on wood, so we'll see how this first load goes. It's not a complete load, but definitely wanted to go see to get an idea of how many of these I'm gonna have to do, being that it's noon already. Not making very good time. Struggling with the grass being in the way for most of the logs we're picking up. The grass is thick, so it might be something we need to buy to improve the visibility there. So like I would cut down a tree, it would be completely gone in the thick grass, have to kind of move it around with the tractor, edited all that out because it was kind of embarrassing, to be completely honest. I don't even know what these are. That's interesting. But we're trying to weave our way through, find our way to that sales location, learning this map. Struggling with the hard economy, it's gonna be a grind. And now that I see how long this is gonna take, we're gonna have to find the right roads to take, but we gotta do full loads every time. We can't do these partial loads just because of how difficult this terrain's gonna be to maneuver in. It's just gonna be a little time consuming. All right, let's see. I think we're probably gonna pull through here to sell this, it looks like. But this is a cool building, not too shabby. Has all types of cool icons on here. A sign, oh my goodness, the sign flips. This is awesome. All right, so let's pull forward. We can see how much our weight is. We undo that. Where is the trigger gonna be? Sell wood. It's right there. $5,655. Okay. We'll go back. We'll see how much firewood we have. And I think this is the route we're going to want to take here. This is the stone production. What was the other one on the map? Oh, I see where we are. So this is stone, and I think there's stone over there as well. But if we head south a little bit, it looks like there is a road. Let's turn around this way and try to find that. It was the one we're on. Follow this home. We'll go get another load and keep on the grind. Yeah, so this won't be too bad. So we will head pretty far east here, and then we'll go south to get back to our property. And I think we're just gonna have to deal with these roads and transportation and how long it takes instead of creating our own. It just doesn't seem to make sense yet until we have bigger equipment to be able to clear a lot more trees a lot quicker. And yeah, the entrance to town is behind us, so now we should just head south and get back to, well, if we go this way, we can get back to that road that leads to our property. I believe, nope. Zip would have been a cool place to start though. A little constructible here, it looks like. That's pretty cool. And a house. Yeah, this would have been a nice spot to start at because then you're real close to this production. We might end up buying that eventually. We'll see the price later on. Yeah, that road's what we wanted to stay on. Just getting familiar with everything. It's going to take some time. But seeing how long it's taking to cut down these trees and drive back and forth and the little bit of money we got from it, I might look at when firewood peaks and see about just getting by on paying loans each month until firewood peaks and get as much money as possible out of that. If it is one that fluctuates. And I feel like we're at the dealership, so we definitely missed our turn, but we can weave through the woods to get back over there. So it looks like it's burnt through 3 so far. Not great, but let's go ahead and take a look at the prices of this. So February, we are pretty low compared to what we're going to get it. It looks like the sell all place could sell it, but we did put the firewood sales location down here because I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't check, to be honest, on this map. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to burn through a lot of time here. And let's see, we need to do some math. So looking at all these loans, it is only $2,300 in loan payments. So we should be good to get through this month, but I do want to get a little bit more wood in there before we do that. And then we'll sell enough firewood each month until February just to pay the bills. So maybe we shouldn't have bought the log trailer, but we're busting through some time here. I got it pretty populated, but yeah. Some mistakes were made. I think this is the best course of action. Going through more time to then get more productions. I think it's the way I want to play it. Hard economy, it's freaking hard. And we're just working through time here, moving some bags around back and forth. And I'm noticing that the dollar amount is dropping ever so slightly every hour. So I don't know if that's something that we need to pay attention to or if that's just the production costs, but we're going to write down $3,021, and at the end of the next month, we should know exactly how much it costs us a month to operate this. So in theory, we should be able to get through October without having to sell any of this firewood, as we're going to take a peek at the price as it's going up, as it gets closer to that $400. Not a huge difference, but every little penny is going to help in this challenge. All right, stopping time, we ended up going negative. So negative 523. Let's do a little bit of math here. It was about $3,500 worth. So what we want to do is hop in here and sell as many of these as we can until we get to 3,500 bucks to keep us afloat for the next month. So let's get time rolling again normally. And I'm going to keep rolling. We're getting 500 per now, so that's a little bit better than it was. But I'm going to start cleaning this area up, get these sold, get enough money. And I think at that point, just because of the tediousness of all of this, and I've been just pushing these out of the way, making a big mess here, we're going to see you in February. Or when the prices peak, if that's before February. It probably will be in January. We got quite a mess here in the winter. We're going to start pushing these in. It is January. Prices have peaked. As we suspected, it'd be a month early. So we're gonna get all of these sold. Just gonna back these up a little bit, and I think we're gonna have enough money to get that sawmill. And I think at that point, even though we will lose money over the year, we're gonna move this to selling. We're gonna start just directly selling the firewood, because it'll just be a lot easier. So let me get this done. We'll see where our dollar amount is and get that sawmill going. And we've gotten to daylight. We've got everything sold. We've sold a little bit more. Let's take a look at the finance tab here. Finances, we've sold $52,000 worth of products, and we can see right here, we can see our prices. So I could have added this up. This month right here, it shows us a good example in October where it costs us $3,500 just to run the existing production and our leases. So that's the expenses, but let's go ahead and see where we're gonna put the baby sawmill. And the plan here is to get this going until we can afford the bigger one. I think that'll do right there. Let's go take a look. I know this doesn't produce a lot of goods, but I think it'll be a good start here. And let's get these trees out of the way that are close. And this is the one that just kind of falls in and then it takes it, right? Yes. Okay. So 4,000 going in here, and we'll figure out exactly what we need monthly for this as well, but I think this is one that we can fill up pretty easily because the capacity is not huge. And kind of forget about it. We won't set this one to selling yet. We might eventually, but I think we'll keep this as is and go ahead and sell them ourselves for at least the first few times, and we'll see how much the prices fluctuate for these goods on this map. It might not be too bad, but that got us 10,000, so that should be good. Let's go ahead and just activate all three of these. Wood beams might have been okay to just do. I don't remember if they run in parallel or not, so you guys might want to help me with that. And we can hold 14,000, so this will be the last tree we need here, and then we'll get some more. We'll get some more trees going for the firewood production, but it's going to be selling instantly. You can see we're at 17,000 in the next hour or so. We'll probably see a little bit more money. But let's go ahead and chop this right here. And it took it nice. So we'll get this one prepped. I'll probably get the tractor over here to push it into the zone so that when the time comes, we're able to just sell it or move it instantly into the sawmill. So now looking through here, the Brantner, gosh, was kind of a mistake now that we've changed plans, but we're gonna need it long term. But we have 24,000 to pay it off, 22,000 here. Let's go ahead and settle this one early. And then now we're down to just that, but we're gonna need a trailer and forks for moving pallets, unless we did just selling. Let's look at the prices on those goods. It's gonna be a tough grind, so we're taking all the shortcuts we can. They fluctuate a little bit, but not a ton. Not much with the planks long, and then the wood beams, they don't fluctuate much at all. So I think we will go ahead and do that to save us a little bit of money. We will change the output type to selling for these. And I think the benefit of that is you sell the little bit you produce every hour. So let's get to 10 o'clock. We have 87.90. Let's see what we're making hourly right now. That won't be a full hour, but 92.13 as we get to 11 o'clock. And we need to get some more wood in here pretty soon. But you can see we did clear out a good amount here. We're gonna keep pushing this direction. And I think we might eventually get some equipment to make a poplar field. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, not a ton per hour yet, but we'll definitely, as we add productions and get this rolling a little bit better, we'll get more money per hour, per day to really help us out. And being that we need a lot of time to get to the poplar, we're definitely gonna look at cultivators and see if there's something cheap we can purchase. And this one might absolutely will do the trick. So we'll probably buy that in a month or so, but let's look at the planter for that. I know it's a little rough to use, and it should be down here in forestry. Tree planter, but this also can plant poplar. It's 27,000. We could finance that, but then we're going to also want the baler. So let's see if I can remember where that is. Is it under round balers? I don't think it is. The bio baler, here it is. So it's 95,000. That's something we probably would go ahead and finance, but we're going to try to do a little bit better with financing. And you can see we are clearing even more land here. So we got a lot of stumps to remove. We do have the stump grinder. I just don't feel like this is quite the area yet that would be worth doing. I mean, it might be, but we're going to keep running this way. Get these little trees gone. They're kind of annoying, but they do help, so every little bit's going to help. So I'm going to keep grinding. I'll give you guys an update in a little bit. All right, it is February. We're looking good. We have $21,000 and a lot of tree stumps. So what I want to do is get the cultivator we're talking about. We're gonna double check the horsepower first. Let's go into vehicles. And our Kubota here has 180 horsepower, so that should be more than enough. Let's go ahead and jump into cultivators here. And what about subsoilers? 1.5 meters, they're just not huge. So this one's 4 meters for 20,000. The cultivator was 4 meters for 9,000. Yeah, we're gonna use the Create Fields with Cultivator mod. We're gonna buy that. And let's go ahead and head in and pick it up. And we'll do a little bit of cultivating here in the winter. So we'll have to then finance the planter, because I don't think we'll definitely not have enough money for that. And then in, what is it, 17 months or something like that? 13 months? We'll be able to, hopefully, maybe we'll have enough money to put a good down payment on the baler, but that's going to be a good way to make money, I think. Poplar definitely will help, and I think that's way better than the wood chipping mod we were using. That just seemed to be a little too overpowered for me, and you know, we reset this series for a reason. It was, even though it was hard economy, that map was a little messed up, and doing the wood chips just was boring. So this is a little bit more entertaining to me, and I hope it's more entertaining to you as well. And we did get a ton of views on that video, the first one of the series. I apologize for not doing more prep work to make sure we liked what we're doing before we got deep into it. But this should be fun to finish up now. Definitely liking this map so far and the way it's going. And there's some other things we could do eventually with some stone and potentially making some glass as well to make some money, which would be pretty cool if we do get there, because I believe that production does need wood chips and sand to make the glass, so that wouldn't be a bad plan at all. And of course, to remind everybody, we did make this harder on ourselves, and that's why we're doing the hired purchasing by financing the equipment. We made it harder on ourselves by saying we can't do any leasing. So, you know, this is a full-on survival challenge, hardwood challenge here to become a millionaire with all the things lumber. So kind of thinking through it. I don't know if we'll do the stone. I want to get some feedback from you guys about doing the stone / glass production, but we are going to take some liberties here. Not really liberties, but we're going to go ahead and start creating this field. Is that going to just mulch right now? That's not creating a field. That's just getting rid of the snow. There we go. Now it is creating the field. So we're going to cruise around and try to just deal with the stumps as much as we can. Okay, maybe we need to do the stumps first, but this cultivator is pretty awesome. We'll see how this works. Yeah, I think we need to get the stump grinder out. I was gonna do that off camera next, or in between episodes, but I think it's definitely gonna be required. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll drop this, get that stump grinder out, and grind a little bit of stumps, get them going. Now we remember, right, we just can cruise up to these once we get this to the right height, and it should take care of them. And if we have any problems, we will use good old lumberjack mod. But what is happening here? Come on. There we go. Okay. Yep, we should just be able to cruise around, and we'll get these stumps taken care of. Boy, we've been grinding. Stumps are all gone. Now we can get back to this plan here and see how big this field is. We might want to make it bigger before we plant poplar, and I'm kind of thinking, since I've never really done it before, do I want to do it square? But I don't know. So yeah, let's just go ahead and go straight here. And the plan here will be that this field will constantly grow, but we'll make it as big as we can right now with the trees that have been removed. And next month, like I mentioned in March, we will definitely get the poplar planted so we can start that first cycle. And as we go, we can just keep expanding it, keep planting poplar as we need it, or as we want to, and expand that. And eventually just have a ginormous poplar field. But it will be little to start, like that right about there. So now we just want to fill in the middle. Yeah, it's not huge, but it will be a good start. And like I said, we'll just keep expanding. I love it. Let's keep rolling. So definitely happy with the decision to switch maps. I love this one so far. I'm excited to see what we can do with it as we get our first field going here, and kind of want to think about this as your guys' series. So let me know what you think about the glass production and working our way towards doing a little bit of that stone work and the mining there. And there's also, I think there's another type of mine. There might be iron on this map. We can take a look here in a second once I maneuver around this tree. You get this last little speck here. There we go. All done. So let's go ahead and take a look at that as we close today's episode. Good progress though. Okay, looking at the map here, we do have iron down here at the bottom. We have stone and a little bit more stone here. Let's go ahead and see if we can visit over here. And I don't remember, this looks interesting. So I don't remember if this is completely working texture-wise. I might have some mod conflicts. I know there's some issues with some of these mining maps right now. So we'll see. It looks like there is a collision problem here. So maybe we stay away from that unless I can figure that out. But I don't think that's the problem with the stone. Let's double check. I'll do some debugging. I'm starting to learn a little bit about how all this works. Yeah, the collisions seem to be working perfect in here. I'll try to get that iron working again. I do know it's mod conflicts and something to do with fill types, but we do have a little bit. But I'll test off camera to make sure we can pick this stuff up. And let me know what you guys think. Pretty good progress here. We got all the way through February. We have $13,000 right now. And decent amount of wood in the firewood production. And then over here, it did take the other logs. So we might need to add a few more to the sawmill. Let's see how they're looking over here. 13,000, they should be good for a little bit. But we'll pick up in March, next episode. Start working on getting that poplar field populated. Socks way up. Thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the next episode.